Hi everyone, I'm Chris. Thanks for joining us. If you're like any of my friends, you like to have a very nice cocktail in your hand, but you think it's very complicated to make one for yourself. You might be afraid you're gonna need fancy equipment, a lot of ingredients, complicated recipes, and you probably get discouraged just thinking about it. Today I wanna explore ways there are to make things very simple. No fancy equipment, just things you already have in your kitchen. We're gonna quickly cover the basic equipment you might wanna get if you're thinking about getting serious about making cocktails at home. And we're gonna make some drinks at the end. We're gonna try both methods and see if it really makes a difference. So let's get started. I'm excited. So as much as precise measurement is important when making cocktail, it's not uncommon to tweak the recipes to match your own taste. Any recipe you try to make, I encourage you to think about it in terms of ratios and proportions. 2 parts of this ingredient, 1 part of that ingredient, 3 parts of that ingredient, and suddenly you don't really need a special tool anymore. Any basic unit works. Let me demonstrate. So this is what we usually use in cocktail making. The standard measurement is 1 ounce. It's 30 milliliters. This one is 30 milliliters. It has 2 sides, and the other side is the double, 60 milliliters. So 2 parts, 1 part. If I think only in terms of ratios, I can actually use any shot glass I have. If I decide this is 1 part, I can make 2 shots when I need 2 parts, 1 shot when I need 1 part, and half a shot if I need half a part. And suddenly I can make a cocktail with any little shot glass. For the sake of this video, let's talk about the jiggers very quickly. They usually come in 2 different measurements standards. This one is 2 ounce, 1 ounce, 60 ml, 30 ml. This one is 50 ml, 25 mLs. That's the 2 most commonly used. I also find this little one in my closet somewhere. So basically anything that you could find in your kitchen would do the job. Now the shaker is probably the most recognizable cocktail symbol out there, but that is something you can easily replace with any jar you might have at home. There are many sorts. The important thing obviously is to have some sort of sealable lid. You don't want to throw cocktail everywhere. And you're gonna need some way to strain what's inside there. So the most basic way I can think is to just use that lid on the side. You can improvise with anything you have at home. If you have a real kitchen strainer or things like that, it can work too. This is what a real shaker looks like. There are many sorts, many sizes, many different models, but in the end, it's just a recipient where you mix your drink, put some ice, and shake it until it is diluted and chilled. So as you probably know, not all cocktails are shaken. Some of them are just stirred. That concerns mostly cocktails who don't include citruses. So when all the ingredients are booze, we just stir the cocktail. What is usually used is a mixing glass with a very long bar spoon. Put your ingredients, add some ice, stir it until it's chilled and diluted. If you don't have such a mixing glass, you can use the jar that we used for the shaking, or pint glass, or a vase, anything you have that's a big vessel that could accommodate all your ingredients and some ice. To stir it, if you don't have a bar spoon, you can use something as simple as a chopstick or a big wooden spoon, anything you find really. Same thing, you're gonna need a way to strain it. If you don't have a lid, improvise with a slotted spoon, a kitchen strainer, or something like that. And there you have it, mixing glass. All right, so now let's put everything we said to the test. I want to mix a simple daiquiri, very basic 3-ingredient rum-based cocktail. I'm gonna make one with a shaker and a jigger, and one with a shot glass and a jar, and then we'll see what it gives. So I'm gonna build both at the same time. First ingredient, let's do the things in the right order for one. Start with the cheapest ingredient. What we need is 3/4 of an ounce of simple syrup, This is a mix of equal parts white sugar and water. So this is 2 ounces. So what I want is 3/4 of an ounce. So I'm gonna do a bit less than half the shot to get 3/4, probably like this. Put it in there. All right, next on, we have freshly squeezed lime juice. This is a lime. I squeeze them. This is the juice that comes out of the lime. We need 1 ounce of that. So I'm gonna fill in the smallest part of the jigger here to the top. Now we have 1 ounce. And here I'm gonna do half of the 2 ounce jigger, 1 part. There we go. And lastly, the rum. We're using a Cuban rum to make a Cuban cocktail. It only makes sense. So we need 2 ounces of our Cuban rum. So I'm gonna fill in the biggest part of the jigger here to the top, put it in the shaker. Same here, I'm gonna fill the shot glass all the way to the top. Try not to spill it here, and there we go. All right, so hopefully we should get the same amount in both cocktails. Let's start with the jar. I'm gonna fill it with ice. So obviously you have to pick a jar that is big enough to contain both your cocktail and a fair amount of ice. This probably would be enough. Let's seal it. Get a glass ready. This one comes out of the freezer. It's always a good idea to freeze your glasses, and let's give it a shake. All right, usually 10 seconds should be enough. You can see the sides are frosted. You can feel it's very cold. I'm gonna open it. I'm gonna use a kitchen strainer. You could just pour it like that. It's always good to double strain if possible to catch little pieces of ice or lime that would be there. And there we go. Nothing very complicated. That's Daiquiri #1. All right. Now for the second one, let's fill the small part of the shaker with ice. Goes. And shake it for 10 seconds. Get it open if you can. All right. Gonna use a proper Hawthorne strainer. Same glass, also just out of the freezer. I'm gonna double strain in case there are some little pieces of ice or lime pulp. And there we have it. All right. So let's give it a taste. Start with the jar daiquiri. Cheers. Well, no surprises here. It's what you expect, a sour rum-based cocktail. I couldn't tell that it's been made differently than usual, but I'm just gonna take a quick sip on the other one to compare. Delicious as well, no surprises. All right, so after tasting both of these cocktails side by side, I can honestly say there is no difference whatsoever. So we have our result here that proves that you can make an as delicious cocktail with no equipment using a simple jar and a shot glass. We could have made the test with many different cocktails. I chose a daiquiri because it's a very basic and classic rum cocktail that I know the taste of. So I could tell if something was off, and this is honestly perfect in both of those glasses. So I hope this will encourage you to maybe try to make cocktails at home, even though you don't have any equipment. As you can see, a simple measuring tool like a shot glass and a jar can get you to shake your own daiquiri and make yourself a very delicious drink. That's it for today. I hope you liked this video as much as I enjoyed making it. If you did, don't forget to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. We'll see each other again because we're gonna do a lot more of these. So stay tuned and see you next time. Cheers.